when someone is on a self-improvement journey, we tend to make it look like I needed to do a 30-day challenge, I needed to do a 90-day challenge, I needed to do 75 hard. They're doing all of these things. And for me personally, having that as my definition of self-improvement sent me on a spiral. You are burning yourself out before you even got into the place where you want to get to. And so if you're burning yourself out now, how then is the future version of you going to be able to manage all of these things that are currently burning you out? A self-improvement journey is not a quick fix. It is longevity. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of A Black Girl's Orbit. I'm your host, Zara. Hi, nice to see you. I hope you're all doing well. I hope everybody's good. I hope you're feeling fantastic. I hope you had a good week. I took a break for a week because I needed to get some things in order. Like, I was rushing everything, and it's like we can slow down. And that's why today we're going to talk about the self-improvement spiral and how I feel like as a society, the self-improvement movement is being packaged wrong. And the reason why I say this is because when you look at on social media, for example, TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, a lot of the times when someone begins to go on a self-improvement journey, it's all these things that they're doing, right? They've got a to-do list, they've done 75 hard, they've done a 30-day challenge, they've done something that looks speedy and very quick. They've started all these things, they've set all these goals, and they're like doing a whole lot. It can look like they've got a 9-to-5 and they've got a side hustle, they're building a business while having a 9-to-5. They've got 4 different businesses running at the same time. They're doing YouTube, they're doing TikTok, they're doing Instagram, like they're doing so much. Like, content creators look like they're everywhere, they're doing so many things, they've got multiple different platforms running multiple different types of content. When someone is on a self-improvement journey, we tend to make it look like they're doing all of these things. And for me personally, having that as my definition of self-improvement sent me on a spiral. It sent me on an absolute spiral. Let me explain. I'll use myself as an example. I thought to go on my self-improvement journey, I needed to read 30 books. I needed to not only read all these books about self-improvement, but I needed to implement every single thing that I've read in every single book that I've listened to, that I've read over the last however many days. I needed to have a to-do list of 50,000 things I'm going to get done. I needed to implement 6 different habits that I was going to say. I needed to do a 30-day challenge. I needed to do a 90-day challenge. I needed to do 75 hard. And it was like, I needed to build a business. And when it came to my goals, for example, social media, I was like, well, I need to not only be on TikTok because I need to diversify, I need to be on YouTube, and I need to be on Instagram, and then I need to do reels, and then I need to also do this. And it was like, hold on, because you are burning yourself out before you even got into the place where you want to get to. And so if you're burning yourself out now, how then is the future version of you going to be able to manage all of these things that are currently burning you out? The realization I had is, if I'm on a self-improvement journey to become a better version of me, to become a future version of me, I have to look at the type of life that she has. Is she rushing around? No, she's not. She is not at a place of burnout. Like, the future version of me enjoys what she does. She does it with ease. She does it with confidence. She is completely and utterly living in her purpose and her passion. And when you are living in a purpose and your passion, it shouldn't look like burnout, right? And I feel like the way we package self-improvement online looks like the road to burnout. It looks like the utter and complete road to burnout. And I feel like we need to start packaging it in a way where people understand that self-improvement journey is, one, very specific to you, to each individual. This is one, very specific to each individual. And 2, it doesn't have to look like you're doing 10,000 things. It doesn't have to look like your to-do list is extremely extensive. It doesn't have to look like a 30-day challenge. It doesn't have to look like you losing 10,000 pounds in 90 days. It doesn't have to look like you went on a spiritual awakening and then today you went on a spiritual awakening, tomorrow you woke up a changed person. Like, it doesn't look like that in actuality. In reality, those things take time. In reality, a self-improvement journey happens through a longer period of time because you are changing so much within yourself. See, now I thought my self-improvement journey started in October, like when I decided, okay, I'm going to do the podcast, I'm going to start, going towards my dreams, I'm going to start attracting the life that I want, I'm going to start putting in the effort to get to my dreams and goals. I thought that's when my self-improvement journey started. It definitely didn't. There was thousands of things, thousands of little moments, thousands of things that I learned before then, which got me to the point to make those decisions for my better self, right? But it took thousands of decisions before to get me to this place where I've made one big decision where it seems like I can pinpoint that's where it started, but it's not, right? I've been on this self-improvement journey for a very long time. We are all on a self-improvement journey from the beginning of our lives if we decide to be so, right? It can feel like you've gotten to a point where you've decided, okay, today I'm going to change. Today I'm going to make the decision to change, to become my better self, to become a future version of myself. Yes, but it's not going to happen overnight. And there are going to be loads of things that you need to do to take that into charge. And I feel like by me setting that standard of like what I was defining as self-improvement, I was actually self-sabotaging by saying, oh, my self-improvement looks like thousands of to-do lists. It looks like being on 10,000 different platforms. It looks like going to the gym and doing this and doing that and doing this and doing that. It was too much. And I was so used to being in a place of anxiety, like in a basis level of anxiety, that when I said, oh, I want to become the best version of myself, I was still making her anxious. Like I was still making my future version of myself look as though she's anxious. And it's like, well, no, actually, the future version of me isn't anxious. She doesn't have to be anxious. She does things with ease. Things come to her with ease. She does put effort in. She does work. She does put in the work, but it's not at the detriment of herself, right? And I feel like the way we package self-improvement often looks like it's at a detriment to yourself, and it doesn't have to be. The reason why it leads to burnout is because when you're trying to do too much too fast, our brains go into overload. Like our brains aren't actually supposed to do things extremely fast. Like it needs a moment to process. It doesn't mean things can't happen extremely fast. They can, but it will need a moment to process. Our bodies need time to process the things that are happening. And it reminds me of this movie that I was watching when I was young. Please, if you've watched this podcast before, you know that my references are not great. My references are not great. I barely remember them, but I will put the movie in the description. They were doing tomb raiding. They were looking for all the answers of the universe, right? They were on this journey to find all the answers of the universe. And all I remember is someone who isn't supposed to have all the answers went to like alien type situation and asked for all the answers. And the aliens were like, we can't give it to you. Like your body and your brain cannot function, will not be able to hold this level of information and this level of enlightenment. Like you are not there. Your vessel cannot contain the information that we have. And giving it to you all at once instead of over a long period of time is going to get you to a place where like you explode. And the person was like, yeah, no, I don't care. Like, give it to me. Give it to me. I'll be able to handle it. I'm going to be fine. Give it to me. Give me all the information. I want to know all the answers. I want to have everything. So they basically gave him the download and he exploded. Like his brain exploded. He went from like complete euphoria because, understanding all of this and getting all this information, you feel great. You feel like you've learned so much. You feel like you are on this great place or in this enlightened, higher version of yourself. And then it's like too much. We've taken in too much information. We don't know what to do with this. Our brain can't process it. It's going too fast. Our bodies can't hold this amount of energy and enlightenment. So explosion. Like he exploded. His brain exploded. And that is literally how I see a self-improvement journey when you rush it. Like when you are rushing your self-improvement journey, when you are trying to change everything about your entire life very, very fast, while it can happen, like internally, loads of things can happen very quickly. Our bodies need a chance to catch up. Our brains need a chance to download the information. Our entire energy is shifting and changing and moving, and we need a moment. And that's why I was watching something yesterday, and she said she went to this place and she got all this information. She felt like, so inspired. She was ready to change her life. She went home, and then the next 2 weeks, she felt like she was spiraling. She started eating loads of junk food. Her diet wasn't right. She stopped going to the gym. She stopped chasing her goals. And it was like, yeah, because our mindset is in a place where it's like, you have to shift. Our brains and our ego is like, do we really want to? Like, let's find something that's comfortable, right? And the coach that she was talking to said, this is what's happening. Like, your brain wants to find something that's comfortable. It's trying to hold on a version of you that's comfortable. So it's like, what's comfort? Okay, cool. Let's go and smoke some weed. Let's go and, have some junk food. Let's stop chasing our dreams. Let's stop thinking about our future version of ourselves, because so much has happened so quickly that our bodies are like, we need something that's comfortable. We're so uncomfortable. While we are inspired, we are uncomfortable because change requires uncomfortability. And so the coach that I was watching the video of said to her, I was watching a video of a coach talking to this girl who said she was inspired and then it spiraled, right? And the coach was telling her, yeah, well, of course that's going to happen, because your body is trying to catch up to all the things that you're learning and wants comfort, wants to go back to the old version of you, wants to self-sabotage, basically. And I feel like I was doing that in a complete opposite way. I feel like I was creating such a base of anxiety that there was no possible way that I could get to my goals and my dreams, because I was making those goals and dreams create so much anxiety. Let me explain. So I'm doing the podcast and I'm doing my own content on TikTok, right? And for some reason in my brain, I said, well, if I want to want to do good with TikTok, I need to do 3 videos a day. Now, does the future version of me put herself in a position where she is not able to produce content? Well, no. If content is her full-time job, and content is something that she's doing constantly, and content is her life, then it shouldn't be something that she's forcing. And at the time, even now, 3 pieces of content every day at this moment in time for me to do is too much. I just don't have the capacity. I also don't have enough content to make 3 pieces of content a day. And so every day I felt like I wasn't completing the to-do list. It was like, I need to have 3 pieces of content. I need to edit the podcast. I need to film a podcast episode. And it was like, I'm creating this to-do list and this self-improvement list of things to be my better self, to be my higher self, to do in order to chase my dreams. And it was like, why are you chasing something that's supposed to come with ease? Why are you chasing something that's supposed to come with ease? Why are you putting yourself in a place of burnout for something that's supposed to come with ease? Why are you creating an environment of anxiety if this is your purpose and your passion? It shouldn't bring you anxiety. But yeah, I was creating to-do lists and I was creating a foundation. I was creating an environment. I was creating a life where I constantly felt like I was behind. And it's like, that's not what the future version of me is doing. That's not the type of person that I want to be by the end of this. Like, I want to say that the type of content I'm creating is made with ease, is made with purpose, is completely aligned and comes to me with ease, right? And so with that takes less chasing and more being, more attracting the type of things and the type of content I'm supposed to be producing. That takes allowing what I'm giving, to come to me when it's supposed to. And I feel like I was rushing the process. I was rushing the process so much so that I was saying I need to have 3 pieces of content, and I was sitting down. And while this works for some, like, don't get it twisted, that whole content strategy and, batch filming videos and having content always done, all of that stuff works for some people 110%. However, for me, I know this journey that I'm on with my content is not only just going to be a job, it's very spiritual, right? It's very spirit led. And so if that's the approach that I know I need to take, then it doesn't look like forcing anything. It doesn't look like batch creating thousands of videos and then editing until I burn out. And it doesn't look like not editing because I'm not in a place where I feel comfortable enough to post videos that I feel like I didn't really want to post. Like, that's not what it looks like, right? And I had to sit down with myself and be like, Zara, you're doing too much. You're doing too much. And the future version of you isn't doing too much. Like, when I define her, when I write her down, when I talk about her, when I envision her, she's at ease. She's at peace. She has time. Most importantly, she has time. Why? Because I said I was on this journey to make this my job in order to have more time for my child, in order to not have to leave my child, in order to not constantly be thinking about work, so that I can be fully present with my child. And therefore, why have I already created an environment, created a to-do list, created this self-improvement strategy that is going to do the opposite of that? It's not going to give me time, because while I'm playing with him, I'm thinking about all the content that I need to film. I'm thinking about all the videos that I need to edit. I'm thinking about whether or not I've posted 3 TikToks. I'm thinking about what needs to be done, right? And less of that needs to happen, and more of it's happening in my life, right? It's part of life. When I have something to talk about, picking up the phone and filming that thing, right? When I have a content idea, filming the content idea, and maybe it's a little less polished, maybe it's a little less edited, but it's me. It's me, and I'm comfortable with it, and I'm happy with it, and it came to me with ease, right? And we can get into this self-improvement spiral where we're telling ourselves we need to do 10,000 things, and maybe we don't. Like, we actually don't. I was watching a podcast. I was watching Donnie Wiggins featuring on somebody else's podcast, and she said, the thing that's going to make you the most money is when you bring it back to the basics, right? One thing is going to make you loads of money, and then you diversify that one thing. But you have to get to that one thing. You can't be trying to do 10,000 things. While you can be good at 10,000 things, you have to think about that one thing. What's that one thing that you can actually put your all into at this current moment? And I don't mean like, okay, I'm just gonna film on TikTok, but maybe I'm not going to film 1,000 videos on TikTok 1,000 times a day. Maybe it's going to be one video every day that I'm fully comfortable with, that is manageable for me, right? Maybe it's going to be one podcast episode every week that is manageable for me to do. Maybe I'm trying too much to do too much in 2 areas because I'm like, something has to stick. But why? I should be confident in the one thing that I'm doing. Like, in the things that I'm currently doing, I should be so confident in them and so passionate about them and so happy with the thing that I'm creating that they will stick. And if you are the type of person that can do 10,000 things and they all be 100% great and fantastic, then cool. But in this area of my life, I need less. I need to do less. I needed to do less. I needed more structure, more routine, and more ease, because that's the kind of life that I'm trying to create. I'm not trying to create a life of chaos where I have a to-do list that I never get finished, where I have goals that I never finish chasing, because that's another thing, right? We're chasing these goals and it's like, why am I chasing? I don't want to be chasing. I want to be embodying. I am a content creator. I am creating content. Like, it's not that I'm not creating the content, so why can't I say I'm a content creator? You are a content creator. You are whatever it is that you want to be. We're not chasing. Like, we're not chasing anymore. We're done chasing. We're done chasing. We're not chasing anymore. We are who we say we are, point blank, period. And we are embodying that version of ourselves. We are embodying who it is we want to be right now. We're not chasing anymore. Like, I'm done chasing. I don't know why we like that word. Like, when we say we're chasing something, we're constantly then chasing it. Like, we're never going to stop chasing it. If there's a dream or a goal that you're going towards, that you're working towards, and you're saying, oh, I'm chasing this dream, when do you stop chasing it? Like, at what point have you made it yet? And I feel like I was saying that, like, I'm on this journey, I'm chasing this goal, I'm chasing my dreams. I'm not. I'm not chasing anything. I am what I say I am. How about that? How about I am what I say I am? How about I'm on a self-improvement journey constantly? It's not going to end. I know it's not going to end. I'm constantly going to be working to become the best version of myself. However, I am what I say I am. I just am. Like, there's just, I'm done now. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm sick of sitting here and creating an environment where I'm anxious because I'm constantly telling myself there's things that need to be done. Nothing needs to be done. And I feel like last week I didn't post a podcast episode because I was an episode behind, which meant that I was filming the episodes that needed to be posted the week that they needed to be posted. So it was creating a lot of anxiety for me because the episode that needed to be posted this week, I needed to film this week. And so I was constantly feeling anxious that I needed to get this thing done. And it was like, well, why don't you just take a break for a week so that you have a podcast ready for next week that's done, that's edited, that you don't have to rush, that's ready to go, and then you're an episode ahead. Like, what? Why was that a hard decision? Like, why don't you just take a break, pause, recoup, remember the assignment, remember the type of person that you want to be, remember the type of environment that you want to be in, remember the type of nervous system that you want to have. You want to be at ease, so why don't you create more ease? Go down to the basics. What is the routine that creates me to have ease? What is the type of schedule that creates me to have ease? What are the to-do lists that will allow me to have ease, that will allow me to live in my purpose, that will allow things to attract to me instead of me chasing them, right? And it feels fantastic when you get to the end of the day and you have ticked off everything on your to-do list. But you know how you get to the point where you tick off everything on your to-do list? You write things on your to-do list that you actually believe you are able to complete. That's how you get there. You don't put 10,000 things on this to-do list that you don't feel like you're able to do. You don't start a 75-day challenge that you know you're not going to be able to finish. Now, some of us don't know we're not going to be able to finish, and I understand that, right? 1 second. I understand that we can start things that we don't know we're not going to finish, we're not going to follow through with. I understand that, but maybe it looks like taking 2 days at a time. Maybe it looks like doing 1 day at a time, right? Instead of saying I've got these 75 days, and then when you drop off for a day, you're like, oh, that's it. Like, I just can't anymore. You can, but maybe try again tomorrow. Like, maybe review what's going on and then do it. Like, okay, for example, I started this challenge on TikTok where I said I'm going to go from stay-at-home mom to content creator in 90 days, right? I was like behind in videos within like the first week. I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, I was behind in videos within maybe the first week. So, and then I just didn't like how I was producing the content. So I took a break, recouped, remade a decision, revamped the challenge, and then posted about it again. I did that for maybe 3 days. And then I was like, nope, still don't like it. Changed it again. Posted maybe 2 things of that. Then I got to the point where I was like, Zara, do you actually want to do this challenge? Like, do you actually want to do this 90-day challenge? Did you actually write down the specifics of this challenge, or did you just go out on a whim and say you're going to do this thing? Because I said I was going to do this thing, but I didn't actually outline it fully. I don't actually think I was working in my creative expertise when I said I was going to do this thing, right? And along the way, I started to figure out that I didn't actually fully think this thing through, and I was actually making myself more anxious, and I was actually creating more work that I actually wasn't passionate about in the process of saying I was going to do this thing. And then it's like, well, I've posted about it, so I don't want it to look like I've just like fallen off, or I'm not doing it, or I'm changing it, or that I've started a challenge, I never completed it. And it's like, you created this challenge of stay-at-home mom to creator. Just because you are not updating every single day, stay-at-home mom to creator, it's very clear on your channel whether or not you've made it to a full-time creator or not. So live your life, post your content with ease, post what it is that you're actually passionate about, and when you're ready, you can talk about whether or not you made it to a full-time creator, whether or not you went from stay-at-home mom to full-time creator in 90 days, right? What I'm learning in that process can always be talked about at any moment. I do not need to post daily updates. I do not need to create an environment where I am anxious. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was creating an environment where I was anxious. And we can have this self-improvement idea. I'm going to read 30 books in 30 days. I'm going to read 12 books in a year, right? I'm going to change my life in 60 days. And it's like, yes, cool, great. I understand the idea. But maybe that's not what you need. Maybe you need to take it one day at a time. Maybe you need to look at your basics, your routine, your schedule, your sleeping pattern, the food that you're eating, and figure out how I can actually get to a place where I have a foundation. And then those things will come, right? Then I can think about a 90-day challenge, a 30-day challenge, a 70-day challenge, a 75-day hard, whatever, right? But actually, all the things I'm doing right now are not going to change overnight if I just say I'm going to start this challenge tomorrow. And actually, I'm doing worse by saying I'm just going to change my life tomorrow than actually implementing the things that can change over a long period of time that I'm going to stick to. And I saw one person on TikTok say the reason why you can do a 75-day hard, or you can do a 30-day challenge, and as soon as it's over, you revert back to the same person you were before, is because you created this goal, and then at the end of it, your reward was to stop doing all of those things. You actually haven't created a lifestyle that is sustainable and obtainable for you. You've created an ideal that you have maybe stuck to for 75 days, that you may be stuck to for this 30-day challenge, but they're not actually integral to who you are. They're not actually created a foundation for this new version of yourself. They're not actually obtainable and able for you to do for a long period of time. And we want longevity. I want longevity. A self-improvement journey is not a quick fix. It is longevity. It looks like oftentimes when people are documenting these things, it's a quick fix. They change their life in 30 days. They change their life in 40 days. Maybe they did, but they did the things internally, not just externally. It takes a lot of work internally. It takes a whole load of things internally to get to the point where it looks like you changed your life in 30 days. A lot of things. And so this self-improvement spiral gets us in a place where we feel like I've done all these things. I did the 30-day challenge, I did the 75 hard, and now all of a sudden I'm falling off. Now all of a sudden I haven't stuck to my goals. I was so inspired and I was so enlightened, and I was in this place where I learned all this information. I had 10,000 downloads, and I did this thing for 30 days or however many days. I went on a fast, and then the day after I just fell off. I rewarded myself with some takeout. I had a donut because it was like, yeah, I did this thing. And it's like, no, this is more than a quick fix. Your self-improvement journey is more than a quick fix. And you really do need to get clear on the type of person that you want to be. Get clear on that vision. Get clear on who it is you want to be, because I was telling myself my self-improvement journey looks like me doing these things. It looks like me posting 3 videos a day on TikTok. It looks like me posting 1 podcast episode a week. It looks like me reposting these clips in every area of my life. It looks like me constantly thinking about content. It doesn't. It doesn't. Like, actually, it doesn't. I had to go back and remember why I'm doing this. And so if I'm embodying it, I'm no longer chasing this lifestyle. I am this lifestyle. Like, I am embodying this lifestyle. And so if I am embodying this lifestyle, it's with ease. The word of the day is ease. What will bring you ease? That's how you create a life that you can actually have longevity in. What will bring you ease? It is hard. It's not easy to change your entire life. It's not. It's not easy to become the best and most amazing version of yourself. And social media will make us feel like we can change anything in 30 days. You can, but it's subjective to you and the ideals and the lifestyle that you have, and how much internal work you need to do to even get your mindset in the space that it's possible for you to change your life in 30 days. Because it can look like on the outside, these people change their life in 30 days. It's like you can win the lottery tomorrow. Anyone can really win the lottery tomorrow. But a lot of them lose all the money the day after because their minds are still in a place of lack, right? Basketball players, NFL players, they can make a lot of money very, very quickly. And a lot of them leave those places, leave those industries, leave those jobs, leave those careers with absolutely no money. Why? Because they were never taught how to manage money, one, and they were never in a mindset, in a place, in a mindset shift that understood their limiting beliefs that they had around money. They never faced those things internally. That requires a lot of internal work. While it looks like they changed their life and they're now going to be wealthy for the rest of their life, they made enough money to set their children up for generations on generations and somehow left their careers with no money. How did they do that? Because they never did the mindset shift. They did the career shift, they did the external shift, they did the lifestyle shift, they changed their life, but they didn't mentally change who they are. They didn't mentally go in and change the type of identity that they had of themselves, right? And this is what that self-improvement spiral creates. It creates a whole load of external change. It creates us changing all of these things. It creates us having habits and goals and chasing dreams, but we are not doing enough internal work to get to the place of that. We are not doing enough internal work to create those external stuff to have longevity, to implement those things and change our entire being. And that's why when you're going through an actual shift, it feels daunting. It can feel daunting because you know so much is changing within you. I knew a lot was changing within me, and so I feel like I had to keep up with what was going on internally, externally, and I don't. I don't. My energy can shift and change, and I'm constantly going to shift and change, and I'm constantly going to learn new information, but my body has to take a moment for me to understand it, digest it, and get on the same page as it. And that's okay. And then I have to interpret what it means to me. Like, now I've understood I'm becoming this better version of myself, but what does that mean? What does that mean? And then how am I actually going to get there and have it be sustainable and not just a 30-day quick fix? The way that we have made a self-improvement journey look like it's a quick fix, like it's easily attainable, yes, it is, and it's inspiring that it is, but it takes a lot more than that. And you want to get very clear on what it actually is you want at the end of the self-improvement journey, at the end of the 30-day quick fix, at the end of the 75 hard. Like, what do you actually want? You're going to achieve it. You have the ability to achieve it, but what do you actually want at the end of it? And then what type of person do you want to be by the time you finish it? What kind of lifestyle do you actually want to implement? And then go back and decide whether or not these things that you're doing right now is actually going to get you there. Like, is this hustle culture, doing 10,000 things, multidisciplinary, trying to build an empire, having a 9-to-5, doing all of those things at once, are they actually going to get you the type of life that you want? Or are you just doing them because that's what you see everybody else doing? I had to figure that out. And it was actually leaving my immune system, leaving my mental health, just on this kind of like terrible basis of stress and anxiety. And that's not what I want. I might as well just go and do a corporate job and have deadlines, or maybe go back to school and have deadlines that make me feel anxious and stressed out if I'm going to make myself feel anxious and stressed out. Like, it doesn't have to look like that. And it's hard when you've been in that environment for so long to change to change that. Like, I've been in education where you constantly feel like you should be doing something, you should be thinking about something, you should be fixing something, you should be working on something, you probably have a deadline that you need to be completing. And coming out of that and now realizing, oh, I get to actually create the life that I want however I want it to. I actually get to create however I want to. I actually get to make content when I want. I actually get to edit however I want. I actually get to take a break if I want. I actually get to not have to think about something if I don't want to. It's very hard to shift that mindset and understand that there is a future version of me, 110%, who is living in ease. She doesn't have anxiety when it comes to her work schedule. She doesn't have stress when it comes to her to-do list. She isn't trying to do 10,000 things at once. She has time. She has created time for herself to not have to do a lot. And I think there was an episode where I was talking about, you can try hard. Like, it's okay to try hard. It's okay to look like you're trying hard. You can be on 10,000 platforms trying 10 different things. I take it back. I take it back. This podcast is the evolution of me, right? Like, I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff. We tend to talk about a lot of like self-improvement topics and things like that. But as I change, my opinions therefore will change. And I'm not afraid to say something that I said in whatever episode I now don't stand by. Like, yes, you can try hard and it's okay to look like you're trying hard, but maybe it doesn't look like you're doing 10,000 things and working yourself to burn out. It doesn't. It doesn't have to. It can look like ease. And it can be easy. It's actually easily obtainable. Why? Because you deserve it. Just for being you. Like, you deserve it just for being you. Self-improvement does not have to look like learning 10,000 things, figuring 10,000 things out, starting 10,000 things. It doesn't. For some people, it doesn't. And therefore, why does it have to for you? You get to decide what your self-improvement journey looks like. You get to decide that. And we have to remember that you get to decide that, and you are worth whatever it is that you say you're worth, and you are whatever it is that you say you are, and you are not chasing, you are embodying. You are what you say you are. You don't have to chase anything. You don't have to chase a self-improvement journey. You don't have to chase a dream. You can work towards a goal 110%. I feel like this episode was a little bit all over the place. Hopefully when I edit it, it's a bit more streamlined, but I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I will see you next week, same place, same time. Thank you for entering a Black Girl's Orbit. I have been your host, Zara. I will see you next week.